Hello, in this video we're going to go over how to load a data file from Dropbox. Alright, so I deal a lot with importing of data, and I'm actually going to do a handful of various videos on how to load various data files within R so that you can kind of get started on data analysis projects. But I use Dropbox a lot. I have almost all of my hard drive is in Dropbox. And I kind of treat it like its own little real-time backup. I don't know if it's intended to be used like that, but that's how I use it. So what I've got over here, and I'm just going to slide over to my Safari window. I've got the public folder of my Dropbox currently loaded here, and in this case I've got a handful of different R data files, and I also have a CSV file. So we're actually going to load a .r data file as well as a CSV file, and I'm going to show you how to do that within RStudio. Now, one of the nice helpful features within Dropbox is its share function. And so you can just click on the three dots on a specific file and you can select share. Now, most of this I don't necessarily care about, this stuff up here, how to enter in an email address and messages, and I don't care to deal with that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit copy link. And so that this is the link that I actually am going to need, and that I'm going to actively share. Sometimes I'll share this with students, or sometimes I'll just put it in my own script files directly. So in this case, we're going to take this and I'm going to load this into our global environment using two nested functions. I'm going to use the load function and I'm going to use the URL function. So the first thing I'll type out is I'll type out load, and I'll open my parentheses, and inside of that I'm immediately going to type out the URL function and open up my parentheses there. Inside of quotation marks, I'm going to paste the actual Dropbox link in there. Now, if you try to load this, this actually will not work. There's something you actively have to change here. So you'll see you've got your standard normal web address here. You'll see some kind of gobbledygook that pertains to the specific file you want, and then you also have the actual file name here. In this case, I've got unemployment_rate.r data. Of course, as you can imagine, this is going to have unemployment rate data. And then you see question mark DL equals 0. And this is what you actually want to change. This is kind of like an indicator. Do you want to download this? And in this case, 0 is no, and you want to change that 0 to a 1. So this is actually going to actively allow us now to download this data and bring it directly into RStudio. Now, I have had some various instances where this won't work, and it's kind of only acting intermittently, and I've done a little bit of digging here in various forums. There you will sometimes get some kind of cryptic messages. If the file was created in a different version of R than what you're actively using, intermittently it may throw an error message. Also, if there's even a slight little bit of connectivity issue here, you're more likely going to get an error message, and you might have to execute the line a couple times in order to get it. Now, this process is slightly different if you're going to use, say, a CSV file. So for a CSV file, we're going to have to do something slightly different. Now, I tend to usually use within R, there's a package readr, and this package has a really powerful function, read_CSV. In this case, I'm going to have to call this something, because whenever you're using the read_CSV or the read.csv, which is just in base R, this won't actually create an object that'll be stored in the global environment. Instead, it'll just print down here in the console, and you don't necessarily want that. So using this read_CSV, we'll call this an object here, just called it temp, and open up some parentheses. Now over here I've got also, as you can imagine, I've got temp.csv, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this link as well. And then we'll scoot back over here, and I'll print that as well. Now we're going to paste it in. Once again, you've got this the same kind of general protocol here. You've got your Dropbox address, you've got some kind of cryptic identifier for the file that you're after, and then you'll see DL equals 0. We want to go ahead and change that to 1 as well, and then we'll execute that line. It's kind of standard with the read_CSV. It'll immediately print all the different columns in your data frame that it's assembling from the file, and it'll even tell you the format that each one of these data frames are. In this case, these are all numbers, and it's brought them in as doubles. So if we actually want to view these, we can see, okay, well, from the original function, we have our unemployment rate data. We have actually a date column, a series ID. This is data that came from the Fed. This is the U.S. unemployment rate, and then we actually have values for the actual unemployment rate at that period in time. For the temp file, this is slightly different. Here we have real GDP, potential real GDP, inflation, and an interest rate for a hypothetical country here. So this is actually some made-up data that I used to use for a research project for some of my monetary economics students. But in this case, either way, you're just kind of getting a sense of how to bring in data files within Dropbox so that you can load them directly into your RStudio session and then get to work and doing whatever you need. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be sure to be uploading future videos. I intend to go over bringing in data from all different types of data sources, so please leave some comments down below. If there's something you want to see, I'll be more than happy to make it happen. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.